For more about solar's moment in the sun, let's bring in Joseph Osha from JMP Securities. Joseph, thank you very much for joining us. Let's talk about whether or not this optimism has already priced in just about everything it can for clean energy in the coming year.
Okay. It's an interesting question. Thank you for having me. The short answer is that I don't think it has. We have some movement, I think, reflecting what a Biden presidency could look like. But if it actually happens and we see some of the policies that we're talking about, there's a lot more headroom left to these stocks, in my opinion.
So Joseph, then what exactly drives it? What's the incremental next step, next headline, next development, next regulatory issue that needs to be cleared for these types of stocks to have that catalyst to keep going?
Well, there's two things. Remember first that the business has been doing pretty well even under the current administration. There are a lot of considerations like falling prices for solar, some of the fires that we've had out here in California and what that means for residential solar. So those things will continue to drive the business. But additionally, depending on what happens in November, you could see extensions of tax credits. You could see additional policies around supporting certain types of technology, especially in storage. And so those things would be incremental to what's happening now and would, in my opinion, move the stock prices further.
There was a time over the last couple of decades when we used to look at clean energy, solar energy type stocks and juxtapose them to the price of oil, right? These stocks tend to do higher. They tend to do well when oil price goes higher because oil becomes more expensive. Right now, the threat for oil is that it keeps going lower because there's just not a lot of demand. There's oversupply. Is that going to play out more as a secular headwind for solar stocks, the fact that we have cheap fossil fuels very much in play for the coming decade, if not more?
I don't think it is for a couple of reasons. It's funny you mentioned oil. Frankly, for solar at this point, the relevant comps, because solar is generally used to generate power in homes or in utility farms. So the relevant comps are not oil. It's actually coal and natural gas. And both of those have been really cheap for a long time. And that hasn't prevented the deployment of solar. Certainly, to the extent that we see vehicle electrification happening, low fuel prices do matter. But remember, this is an environment where CO2 levels in the atmosphere are going up, and there's an increasing recognition of that. So I don't think that low oil prices are much of a challenge. And frankly, low natural gas and coal prices haven't been a problem for solar for a while now.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.